Did you know the PlayStation 1 started it all for Sony way back in 94, 95? I know this is a classic one, but the original PlayStation revolutionized gaming forever. But here is the question, can you still play all of those iconic PlayStation 1 games today on your PlayStation Portal? Well, join us as we take a trip down nostalgia lane to uncover which timeless classics are available to play right now on your PlayStation Portal, including one game I think might be the greatest game of all time.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Before we jump into the games list, I just need to say the Portal is fantastic for playing PlayStation 1 games. Why, might you ask? Well, these older games do not look so hot on 65-inch flat screen TVs as they are very low resolution, but on the 8-inch LCD on the Portal, it makes it look way sharper as it's crushed into a much smaller space. First on our list, all hail to the king, baby. He's here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and he's all out of gum. It is Duke Nukem 3D. Now, back in the day on PlayStation 1, it was actually called Duke Nukem Total Meltdown, which was just the PlayStation port of the PC game Duke Nukem 3D. You can now buy on the PlayStation Store Duke Nukem 3D World Tour 20th Anniversary Edition, which includes all the DLC, and there's even a cool button you can press which will flick between the classic graphics and kind of upscaled, better looking resolution. I advise you to stick to the old school graphics. It looks way better, way more character, and will take you right back to just stomping on all these aliens. This is an amazing first-person shooter game. The graphics are very Doom style. If you don't know what this is, you would maybe mistake it for Doom or a Doom mod. Anyone who I know who plays Duke Nukem 3D or did back in the day always thinks back on it with really fond memories. You can up the difficulty level until it is absolutely tough as nails. There's tons of crazy kick-ass weapons. The levels are huge. It is just a really solid first-person shooter game with tons of banter, where you can, you see what I mean. You can interact with loads of things in the game. That is all I'll say. Go and check it out. It's always on sale. It's usually a couple of dollars on the PlayStation Store. Download it and you can be Duke Nukem. It is freaking awesome. And I can't believe we've not actually had a Duke Nukem movie. I think John Cena or someone would be ideal for a Duke Nukem movie. That would be a lot of fun. Back in the day, Big Arnie, but not now. I think John Cena would be good for that. Next up, we're going to a game which could basically be Duke Nukem on wheels, and that is Twisted Metal World Tour. That's what it was called here in Europe, but in the US, it was Twisted Metal 2. This one I would pick over the original. This one is just freaking awesome, and it was actually made by the same developers which made, guess what? Jet Rider or Jet Moto, depending where you were in the world. So very cool, but what a game. The thing that struck me about this game back in the day, so you basically pick your vehicle, drive around, try and blow up your enemies by picking up power-ups, which are various weapons. It is a ton of fun, really simple and nothing too complicated, just have fun. But I always loved playing Carmageddon on PC back in the day, so I'd played that before I got to Twisted Metal World Tour. That's why I love this, because I was like, damn, Twisted Metal World Tour is just kind of like Carmageddon. That's what it kind of felt like. And you've got 2-player options here as well for this game. And there's now a TV show based on it, so you might be thinking, oh, which Twisted Metal game should I go and play? Go and play Twisted Metal World Tour. That is my recommendation. Let me know down below in the comments if you've played this and which vehicle is your favourite to select. I actually would really like to see a new Twisted Metal. Let me know in the comments if you think a PS5 version of this, like a new version, would be really cool. I think that could be a great game for some smaller developer to pick up and then launch it straight onto PlayStation Plus. I would love that. We need more small, awesome, kick-ass games like these games back in the PlayStation 1 era. If you're an OG PlayStation gamer, make sure you hit subscribe, as there'll be plenty more nostalgia coming your way here on the channel. Next up, you can become king of the Iron Fist tournament in Tekken 2. Now, Tekken 2, what a legendary fighting game. An interesting one though for me, I had the original trilogy on PlayStation 1, so Tekken 1, 2 and 3. I thought the graphics on Tekken 1 were better than Tekken 2. Tekken 2 had this really blocky Virtua Fighter graphic style. Then Tekken 3 was just the perfect mixture of better graphics and better gameplay. But Tekken 2 is the one we have access to just now via PlayStation Plus, and you can also buy the game on the PlayStation Store. I have such good memories of this. The whole storyline with the Mishima family, finding out what happened from Tekken 1 then on to Tekken 2. Once you complete the arcade mode with every character, you get a little snippet of the story. Just a fantastic game, a lot of fun to play, and also local multiplayer. You can play against your friends, you know, just beating the hell out of each other in Tekken. It doesn't get much better than this. Let me know who your favorite characters were. I always loved Lei Wulong, that was his name, wasn't it? And the one that was like Bruce Lee, Forest Law or Martial Law, I can't remember which one was which in Tekken 2. And then the Mishima family as well, they were just awesome. Loved Kazuya. And then Tekken 3 we had Jin, but we're not talking about Tekken 3. But yeah, Tekken 2, awesome fighting game. Download it, check it out. And yeah, there is a trophy support on this one too, which is pretty cool for an OG game. Cancel that, there's not trophy support for Tekken 2. I'm getting confused with another game on the list. Anyways, moving swiftly on. We are going from one Namco game to another here, this time with Ridge Racer Type 4. Now, when I think back to being a kid, going to an arcade or a bowling alley which had an arcade in it, or even an airport, there was always a Ridge Racer arcade machine. So Ridge Racer Type 4 is available on PlayStation Plus to check out, and it is fantastic. I just love the old school CGI intro to this game with the music. I remember as a kid looking at this thinking like, graphics can't get any better than this. This looks so realistic. How wrong I was, but damn, what a fun game. Nothing serious here. This is a proper arcade racing game. Really fun, a bunch of tracks to check out, bunch of cars as well. I recommend if you liked any of the Ridge Racer games, download this one. My favourite Ridge Racer game though is unfortunately not on PlayStation Plus yet, or we can't access it, which was Ridge Racer Revolution. And there's a ton of legendary driving games which are not available. I think driving games always fall full of licensing issues. So the original Gran Turismo, that is just one of the greatest for me, but it's not available either. But I think it's licensing deal with all these real life cars, whereas games like Ridge Racer, it's all made up cars, it's fantasy, so they can get away with it. So hopefully we get Ridge Racer Revolution soon also. But yeah, this is a racing game. If you're looking for one, definitely worth checking out for all you PlayStation 1 fans out there. Who remembers that screen which used to pop up at the start of every game? Oh, the nostalgia. Well, from one game which I thought the graphics couldn't get any better, to a game which I thought games can't get any scarier than this, and how wrong I was. What game do you think this is? It's a classic from the PlayStation 1. Resident Evil. Burned into my memory is that moment in Resident Evil 1 when I encountered the first zombie and it cuts to that FMV like cutscene sequence. Oh my god, I found that terrifying as a kid, like for real. And Resident Evil Director's Cut is available on PS Plus, or I think you can buy it on the store as well. But this game, to this day, obviously it is a bit more dated, the graphics and stuff like this, but it still builds up that tension, the fixed camera angle, and even the noise, just the people walking about, it's very robotic. It really, really does still get you a bit uptight and a bit scared. It has aged well in that regard. I mean, look at this game. Look at this game. It's just so good. It's so charming as well. If a bit janky, the controls, you have to use the D-pad and it feels a bit weird. It's nowhere near as sharp as like modern games, but you can still make it work. And also, just for shits and giggles, the chat between the characters, like the voiceover acting, is so bad it will give you a proper laugh.
Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
But yeah, Resident Evil 1, It's available to download to your PlayStation 5 so you can play it on your Portal right now. Fingers crossed we get treated to the original Resident Evil 2 because that was amazing, or even 3 Nemesis. Wow, that would be unbelievable. Or even maybe something like Dino Crisis, Capcom. Come on, eh? Now back to another game I loved as a kid, Jet Rider. Wow, what a game. Now I'm sure this was called Moto Racer in other parts of the world, but I just loved this game so much. And for me, I never had a N64. I always wanted one, and I always thought Wave Race looked incredible. But I had a PlayStation 1, so Jet Moto, as that's what it was called. It was always called Jet Rider here in the UK. Was just my version of Wave Race, even though it's nothing really like Wave Race. But this game is awesome. Really easy to get a bunch of trophies in this. There is trophy support on this OG game, which is really cool to see. The sequel, which a lot of people prefer, is also up there, but Jet Moto, whatever you call it, I loved playing this game as a kid. I absolutely used to boss it. You could do, I'm sure you could do split screen as well, playing against your friends. But the thing I just loved about this, just jet racing about, boosting off. There was a map where it's literally like a freeway has collapsed in the river you're racing along. You can just boost off it and do, like, you know, some cool tricks and stuff like that. It was a really cool game, and it had some unique collaborations in it, like with like Mountain Dew and Nestle's Butterkist and stuff with the teams. We can show you some of the gameplay there. I'll obviously put B-roll on as well so you can see what's happening, but just a fantastic game, and it holds up really well. The graphics, obviously it's a PlayStation 1 game, they're a bit dated, but the gameplay in this is really fun. And as I said, easy trophies. You can sit, chill out, just have a blast with this. 5-10 minutes or a couple of hours, you'll have done all the trophies. It is well worth checking out. So Jet Moto Racer, big thumbs up from me. Check it out. Oh yeah, and before I forget, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for secrets and shortcuts around the map. When I was playing this again, it started coming back to me. It was good, a lot of fun. Can give you that little edge against some tough CPU opponents. Okay, I have a confession to make. Final Fantasy VII, incredible game. Originally, back in the day, I had zero interest in this game. I was in my phase of just loving like arcade style games, which this is not. Super fun, huge, deep RPG game, and I really regret it. I totally missed out on this as a kid. I remember one of my best friends getting it, and I remember it being in the thick dual CD case. I think it had like 3 CDs, so it was like, whoa, what is this? 3 CDs? How big is this game? And he used to go on and on and on about it, about Cloud and Tifa and all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm away to play Jet Rider. But I do really regret it. And since then, I have went back and played it. Wow, what a game. This is a legendary game. A lot of you, maybe younger viewers, will know the remake or the remaster, and they've got Rebirth, you know, interlude, all the newer versions of Final Fantasy VII. The original one is still freaking awesome. It's available on PlayStation Plus. Download it, check it out. I'm pretty sure you can buy this as well from the store if you don't have PlayStation Plus. And also, there's trophy support in this as well. It looks great on the smaller screen of the PlayStation Portal. Amazing game. If you've never played Final Fantasy VII and you're thinking about maybe trying to get into it because you see all these new games coming out, you can go back and check out this original one right now on PlayStation Plus. Amazing RPG game. It'll take up your time for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, it's a huge RPG game with lots of turn-based combat in the game. So if you like that sort of stuff, I really recommend you check out Final Fantasy VII. You will not regret it. It is a legendary game for a reason. I regret not playing this back in the day. Don't make the same mistake as me. Check it out right now on PlayStation Plus. Another thing that is cool about some of these games, like you've got your Final Fantasy and your Resident Evil, is the old school game mechanics. So you need to get to certain points to save it. It's not just like the games nowadays. You can just hit, you know, start button and just save it wherever you like. So there is a bit more difficulty. It's just nostalgia. Even the saving of the games, it pops up the stuff saying save to memory card. So if you were a PlayStation 1 player back in the day, you will love checking out some of these games on your PlayStation Portal. From a really long, serious RPG game in Final Fantasy VII to the most unserious sports game, Hot Shots Golf. Yes, Hot Shots Golf is fantastic. It is like comfort food for me. Any Hot Shots Golf game, I play it on the Vita, I've got it on PS4, I play that on the PS5 as well through backwards compatibility, but you've also got Hot Shots Golf, the original, the OG from the PlayStation 1. If you've never played a Hot Shots Golf game, seriously, it's just super charming. It's just a simple golf game. It's not like a PGA golf game. This is simple. Try and time your button presses so you hit the ball as far as you want to hit it, get the perfect shot, and get a low golf stroke hopefully, and win the game. It's really simple, super charming, and a lot of fun. Even the graphics, oh man, look at this. Nostalgia overload. I just love it. If you ever played Hot Shots Golf, or if you've not, check out this one right now on PlayStation Plus, the original PlayStation 1 game. See where it all started. And then once you like this one, download the PlayStation 4 version, which is freaking awesome also. Now, I wasn't sure I was going to add this one into the list before I get on to the last one, which I think is possibly the greatest game of all time. But the game I'm talking about right now is probably a bit of a symptom of the 90s, where a lot of extreme sports were getting really popular, and then we got a whole bunch of games based on them. That game, my friends, is Cool Borders. Now, Cool Borders 2 was probably better in my opinion, but I remember playing the first one back in the day and it being tough as nails. Like, if you screwed up your angle and you hit the rocks, you would just literally be like a ping pong ball off the walls. It was really difficult. But I don't know, Cool Borders, that franchise to me just is attached to PlayStation, like a lot of other classics like Crash Bandicoot, Gran Turismo, all these sort of things, Tomb Raider, but Cool Borders was up there for me also. I always think about Cool Borders fondly. Really simple, basic game here though. A few things missing, surprisingly enough, for a snowboarding game. So you try and go down the tracks. There's 3 tracks you start off with, and you can unlock more if you get a fast enough time, that is. But then you just kind of race against ghosts of your previous runs, so trying to get better and better. It's a good, simple, fun game, but there was no local multiplayer, which just seems an odd thing to leave out, especially back in the day. This would have been perfect. Near enough every racing game had local multiplayer in it, so you could race against your buddies in split screen. This didn't. It was weird. It felt like they were kind of maybe finding their way with this, or trying to just rush it out because other games which were similar were out and really, really popular. So yeah, let me know if you think this should be on the list or not, and let me know if there's any games which are not on this list which you think should be, as I know there will be a ton because they're not all available to play on your PlayStation 5 right now, unfortunately, which I'll be doing a future video on as well, which PlayStation 1 games Sony needs to make sure they port to PlayStation Plus or the PlayStation 5. So help me out by leaving me some comments down below. This game contains expressions and themes which may be considered outdated. That means it's going to be good, people. So this game, number 1 on my list, and well, this list isn't in order, but I think this game seriously is possibly one of the greatest games of all time. It's so far ahead of everything else. Metal Gear Solid. Holy shit. Let me know if you played this originally on PlayStation 1. This game was mind-boggling. I think this was one of the first games which ever completely hooked me in to the point where I actually completed it and I didn't get bored. I get bored really easily. I've got the attention span of a goldfish, but this game, wow. The graphics, amazing. The gameplay, super unique. All the stealth mechanics, hiding in a cardboard box, hiding away from, where cameras can see you and where bad guys can see you, hitting on like containers to make a noise to distract bad guys so they run around one way, you go the other way. There's guns in this. You can take diazepam to calm your sniper shot. Cigarettes. It's honestly an absolute masterpiece. And then that's not even talking about the boss fights. I'm not going to spoil the boss fights, but there was one back in the day, I just need to talk about it, where Psycho Mantis would actually start reading what was on your memory card. As a kid, your jaw literally hit the floor like, what the hell is going on here? Like, you actually thought it's something taking over your PlayStation. And then, you know, you had to, I think it was Psycho Mantis or someone else, you had to change the controller port from the player 1 to the player 2 port so you could actually beat them. Hideo Kojima is just a legend. He's so creative, and this game was an absolute masterpiece. We need a complete full remaster of this as well. This deserves it. One of the greatest games of all time, in my opinion. And you'll have a good laugh as well just playing it for the nostalgia. One thing that struck me, so this is probably one of the first games I remember as well, it had so much narrative cutscenes in it. You know, when Snake is talking to other people, and it just adds so much to the story, but you also get a really good laugh at some of the things they say. Like, Snake's a bit of a player. Snake likes his women in this. He's chatting a lot of them up. It's really quite funny. I don't remember that when I was a kid. Clearly when I was a kid I was just thinking about, you know, shooting bad guys and blowing stuff up. But now you watch this, you see it with a different lens on. It is really, really funny. Nice time capsule of the time and just a timeless classic. If you've never played Metal Gear Solid, play this, do yourself a favour, and then just start working through them all. They're all fantastic. And we will be doing best PlayStation 2 games to playlist, and you better believe there's probably going to be a Metal Gear Solid game on there too. They're that freaking good. Now I've described all this, you might be like, what kind of game is this if you've never played it? And it says right here on the box, tactical espionage action. So yeah, it's an action adventure game, third person, and you can go into first person in certain points as well, but 11 out of 10 this game gets. It's so good. I think this is my favourite game of all time. That is how highly I recommend Metal Gear Solid. You can pick this up standalone or part of the Metal Gear Solid collection, which includes some of the games before Metal Gear Solid. I think it's got Metal Gear, and then you've got Metal Gear Solid 1, 2 and 3. Well worth checking out. Quite often they're on sale. Pick it up and just buy them all, or just get this one and start your journey off. And then if you like it, you can pick up the other ones later. I was just looking at my desk when I was recording this, and I noticed my coasters here, which are all mini PlayStation 1 cases, which is just so cool. And only one of them has made it onto this list. The rest of them are missing. So there we go. Tekken 3. What an incredible fighting game. Probably one of the best of all time. Where is it? Time Crisis. Who misses Time Crisis? Light gun games, they need to make a comeback. They were so much fun. Ridge Racer Revolution. The one I was just talking about. My favourite Ridge Racer game. Where is it? It's MIA. Tekken 2. It's the only one which has appeared so far. What is that all about, Sony? You might be looking for more games after this list to play, which is why some of the best indie games available right now for your PlayStation Portal are all in this video right here. Check it out.